I'm truly honored to be here, to have been invited, President of the NSBE and NSBE members, leadership of ESCOM, fellow engineering practitioners. I'm very careful not to say engineers. We hold a collective responsibility, both individually and collectively. We are Black and we are meant to solve the world's problems. We are meant to build infrastructure. The world we live in today has us solving problems we never studied, right? Those of you who are designing flood lines know that the amount of rain you're receiving, not even the 100-year flood line you had at school would help you. So we are working on our toes. We have got to be agile. Those who studied transmission and distribution of power through coal are now having to do it through hydrogen. Yet we have the added responsibility of working together and building one another up. As your regulator, it's always a daunting role. And I would like to tell the Chief Risk Officer, you did not leave us. When you're evaluating risk, you use systems, you use processes, and you understand those projects a lot better because you are an engineer. 30% of the Fortune 500 CEOs, more than 30% of them are engineers. So I'm here to also give a clarion call to engineers to be leaders. Mostly because you have a unique ability to see, understand, and solve problems in a way that nobody else does. We naturally think 10 steps ahead, 20 years ahead, because the liability we have on projects is not just today. I remember I was talking to lawyers and accountants and I was saying, we're not the same. My liability will live for a long time if in year 29 what I designed failed. There can still be a complaint lodged in Engineering Council of South Africa. So we have a responsibility that goes beyond what most other disciplines are able to do. So the responsibility that I have within Engineering Council South Africa, number one, is to build credibility. When I joined those boxes in which people were submitting their forms, application forms had to go. As the most innovative group, type A brained individuals, we had a regulator that was making us right? So as we digitize with the candidate portal, the professional application portal, you will get to the stage where you have a user profile. We have an additional responsibility to protect the industry. And by protecting the industry, I mean that we are cognizant of the fact that one job in our sector creates 8 jobs indirectly. However, with that comes quite a bit of responsibility as engineers grapple with making decisions in an environment where the decision makers and the pass holders range from politicians to banks, and they are worried about their professional integrity. So the protection of the industry through identification of engineering work aims to prove your professional competence. It aims to also protect you in the event that at one point you are being compromised. And I don't think many engineering practitioners actually know that if they are being compromised in their job, they actually can write to ECSA. And in that letter, let us know whether they want us to then communicate to their employer on their behalf, or they will sit it out. And when the popo hits the fan, they can call us to be able to defend them. And I don't think many of us know it. And so we are going to run quite a couple of public awareness campaigns to be able to do that. We have to build a pipeline of skills that we need to build our country. Germany's ratio of engineers, yes, they're few, but it's 1 to 300. We are in the 1 to 3,000. We long to see a day when there is engineering being provided in all provinces because it matters. When we are engaging with the Dean's Forums, I'm always interested in how many of the individuals that are studying any discipline within the engineering faculty and the built environment faculty come from the catchment area of that particular university. Because every province, every municipality needs water, they need power, they need roads, they need engineers. So our responsibility is to work with all universities, even the ones that are up and coming, to make sure that we are providing the basic disciplines of engineering and growing them. I was speaking earlier today about the dwindling numbers of people in agricultural engineering, and yet food scarcity is a real issue. We only have 2 universities providing those disciplines. We've got to elevate the role of professionals for us as engineers. We did a disservice in selling registration as the ability to sign off designs, because professional competency is proved through registration. It means that when you're given a task, you will execute that task. Even in my role as the CEO of Engineering Council South Africa, if I do not comply with the code of conduct, the code of practice, I've put it aside for now because I'm no longer building and planning airports and railways. But the code of conduct still holds for me. And anybody who employs me can be able to hold me to a higher standard because I am professionally registered. So I do want us to just have a discussion on 3 things that I think would be important for all of us to look at. Mentorship is one of them. And many people are under the assumption that mentorship sometimes means that you have to take the time off. And I was quite saddened that you had an application of 100 and you only got 15. If the gap is mentors, please reach out. We've been training mentors. We have about 2,000 of them who've put their hands up. Please let us know, because I think it is important for individuals to be mentored in the right way. So we are training mentors on how to be able to assist, grow this pipeline. The candidacy programs for us are important. And the bleeding happens as follows. 20% of the students at university are the ones who come into the pipeline of Engineering Council South Africa. That means they've gone to banks and pharmacies and so on and so forth, other sectors. But of those 20% that come in, the time it takes for the candidates to be able to go through and turn around, the timeline, 7 to 9 years. Average should be about 3 to 5. So candidacy programs are really important. Training academies in the workplaces are really important so that we are guiding candidates. Our candidates look like us in percentage, but our professionally registered individuals don't, which means that our people are struggling in the candidacy pipeline. We are looking out for a lot of CETA funding to be able to unblock it. As a regulator, we cannot participate in the candidacy programs, but we can facilitate and make sure that when you're running training programs in your workplace, please consider running training programs not just for your employees, but people from outside. They're looking for work placements. They've gotten the bursaries, they've gone to school, they've studied, they've finished, but they're struggling with where to get the training. And those are the times that we technically sometimes lose them. Capacity building programs for me is the last one. We need to be able, because the world is changing and our needs are changing, most of the individuals who work as engineers in municipalities are grappling with problems they've never seen before. So we have to be able to look at capacity building programs to reskill and upskill all of us as we go through the phase of us becoming a more global entity as a country generally, because we need to make sure that we are building capacity for the future in new disciplines. There are lots of emerging disciplines that we need to think of and we need to consider, whether it's nanoengineering, digital engineering, data engineering, mechatronics engineering. Nuclear is becoming an important one, hydrogen. And what we studied today, and the engineer of the future is going to be a problem solver. They are going to be an interdisciplinary type of engineer. So we need to be able to train that capacity going forward. We are seeing a lot of them coming through, but we are hopeful that organizations like the NSBE create the network of collaboration that will help and assist us as Engineering Council of South Africa to push this agenda of transformation forward. Thank you very much for your time.